Chinese girl named Wei moves to New Zealand, where she has been awarded a scholarship to study at a prestigious university. However, Wei is less interested in academics and more focused on gaining access to a fully equipped biolab, where she can continue her father's research. Her father, a scientist, spent his life trying to find a way to make skin tissue compatible with any body. Wei needs to finish this research to eliminate a skin defect on her face, which forces her to always wear a scarf in public. At the institute, Wei becomes the assistant to a narcissistic scientist named Paul and eventually discovers the missing component of her father's formula. But after accidentally killing her sister, Wei decides to test the drug for the first time by taking on her sister's face. One of the biggest genre hits of 2024 was the satirical horror film The Substance, which explored themes of aging, beauty, and bodily autonomy. Its success revived interest in body horror, a subgenre that had been somewhat forgotten, and distributors began looking for similar films. The New Zealand horror film Grafted at first glance seemed to have a lot in common with this movie, but in reality both are only united by their protagonist's obsession with external beauty. That said, The Substance is a genuinely brilliant arthouse blockbuster, while Grafted is a messy hodgepodge of underdeveloped ideas. Unlike The Substance, which featured a strong, determined woman willing to do anything to achieve her goals, Wei is a typical wallflower. She lost her father early, is self-conscious about her appearance, and struggles to connect with new people. Of course, we all feel like outsiders at times, so it's easy to initially sympathize with her fears, insecurities, and dreams. But at some point, the filmmakers seem to forget what they wanted to say and switch to the mode of a flat, cable TV thriller about a psychopath in sheep's clothing. Wei immediately starts behaving erratically, leaving a trail of bodies, while somehow ignoring a constantly barking dog that draws unwanted attention to her. The filmmakers play along, blatantly ignoring plausibility and realism. Wei has one obvious trait, a protruding front tooth that doesn't disappear after the face transplant, and the fact that no one around her notices this, feels completely contrived. While it's somewhat believable that one Asian woman could pass herself off as another by borrowing her face, it's impossible to believe that a petite Chinese woman could don the face of a tall, blonde Australian woman who looks like Margot Robbie, and no one would notice the switch, not even during sex. Grafted is a bloody film and, like any body horror, is at times deeply unsettling on a physiological level. However, the realistic gore often coexists with makeup so shoddy that even old low-budget films from Troma Studios would put it to shame. This bizarre duality is perhaps the film's defining feature. There's a great protagonist, but she lacks a proper character arc, and the filmmakers don't bother to make the audience empathize with her until the end. There's an interesting idea, but it's buried under a trashy horror film built mainly on contrived coincidences. There's potential for thought-provoking reflections and satirical commentary on modern social dynamics, but it all drowns in senseless carnage. And that's not even mentioning how Grafted becomes increasingly illogical and unconvincing in its details, as the story progresses. In reality, this whole story would have ended much sooner and far more prosaically.